talking about another rookie, Sam LaPorta. Was the second tight end drafted off the board. Dalton Kincaid went first in the first round. LaPorta, the first tight end off the board in the second round to the Lions. And right after him was Michael Mayer. Yep. These two will likely be compared to each other for the rest of their careers, given that they're both semi or hyper successful. We'll see how it plays out. But Jeff, I want to know, did the Lions make the right decision and why?
So, especially after the draft, knowing that Sam LaPorta before the draft was considered amongst many and many draft analysts as one of the better tight ends in this class, and a lot of tight ends were drafted this year, a lot. And they all started getting drafted right after Sam LaPorta. He was the second tight end taken by the Detroit Lions. And I want to do my research. I wanted to really boil it down and find the why, because I think that's going to answer a lot of people's questions. And again, Alex, if you can, I'm going to throw this graphic in the chat, and I want you to put it up. But meanwhile, while I do that, I want to go through why Brad, and he went on and explained really the decision to take LaPorta over Michael Mayer. And I'm going to read some quotes before I get into the meat and potatoes. Okay, so this is Brad on Sam LaPorta. He said, "That's the beauty of evaluation. When you look at the totality of the draft, there are 31 other draft boards, there are 31 other rosters, and there are 31 other teams looking for different things. LaPorta felt best for us. He fits us in terms of a total player. I think Mayer is going to be a really good player. He's going to be a productive guy for Las Vegas, and I have no doubts about that. LaPorta, what intrigued us about him was his versatility, his intangibles, his effort. Yeah, he can do some stuff in the run game and block, but he really aligns in multiple different spots, whether the slot or the outside." Now remember that for a second. The slot or the outside or as a wing. He was playing wildcat quarterback for them, I think in the bowl game versus Kentucky. He's a guy who can do a lot of different things. I really like his ball skills, and run after the catch is really intriguing for us, so we're excited to get him. Now, Brad highlighted a lot of things that I'm going to go into here. And again, coming out Michael Mayer, besides Dalton Kincaid, I mean, I've seen Michael Mayer as high as the best tight end in this draft. Now let's go through the collegiate stats, because before I get into everything else. So Michael Mayer on Notre Dame. Notre Dame this year was 33rd in points per game. They were 52nd in yards per game and 20th in points per play. Michael Mayer, over the last couple seasons, he put up, we'll go with the last 2 seasons. That's really where these guys are the most productive. Last 2 seasons for Michael Mayer, 71 receptions for 840 yards. The next year, 67 receptions for 800 yards. Okay, so let's look at Sam LaPorta's stats. And Sam LaPorta played for Iowa, and we'll read off Iowa stats. 117th in points per game, 129th in yards per game, and 108 points per play. And we'll just go yards per play, 126. So you notice the discrepancy there in the offense they played in. Remember that. So there you go. Michael Mayer this year, like I said, 71 catches, 67 catches this year. Let's go to Sam LaPorta. 53 catches the year prior, 58 catches this year. So think about that. Almost 30 more targets, roughly 20 to 30 targets more for Michael Mayer. Now look at the stats. 800 yards the last 2 seasons for Michael Mayer, 650 roughly for Sam LaPorta. So you're telling me 25 to 30 less targets, but only 150 less yards. So think about that. Now the first thing all our minds go to is, well, yards after catch, right? And the way he was utilized at Iowa. Absolutely. Sam LaPorta not just lined up, he lined up in the slot. They moved Sam LaPorta all around. And the thing that intrigues even Brad and me and most Lions fans about LaPorta is yards after catch. You look at some of the better offenses, an offense like the 49ers, for example, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, guys that can what? Yards after catch. That's the big thing here. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam LaPorta, yards after catch. Now, I want to go through the combine. So you went through the opportunities they got at both their respective schools. Now, I want to go through the combine because this matters. And Brad obviously values the combine. You talked about Jack Campbell being the most athletic linebacker. He looks at this. Let's compare. 40-yard dash. Okay, Sam LaPorta, 4.59. Michael Mayer, 4.7. Okay, we'll go down the list. 10-yard split. It's crazy how different these are. Michael Mayer, 1.66 in their 10-yard split. Sam LaPorta, 1.59. Vertical jump for Sam LaPorta, 35 inches. Vertical jump for Michael Mayer, 32 inches. Broad jump, 9 feet. 9 inches for Michael Mayer. Same thing for Sam LaPorta, 10 inches. In the 3-cone drill, 20-yard shuttle, Sam LaPorta participated. Michael Mayer did not, so I'm not going to compare those. But the point I'm making is this. Although Sam LaPorta was the second best tight end drafted, you look at the opportunities they were both given at college. it's clear as day that Sam LaPorta, despite being in one of the worst offenses in all of college football, only put up a little bit less production than Michael Mayer. Now, the touchdowns, of course, are very different, but how many touchdowns did Iowa score this year? You got that number off the top of your head? There's not many. So they obviously love Sam LaPorta for what he brings, not only in the run game, but where they can move him, his versatility. I mean, you look at Sam LaPorta and Jahmyr Gibbs for Jared Goff, get the ball out. Get the ball in these guys' hands, and they'll make plays. That's all it is. So trying to understand why Brad Holmes took Sam LaPorta over Michael Mayer, because I know that was a big conversation. Sam LaPorta, he tore his meniscus in college, which is true. And Brad Holmes has a history of drafting players that have gotten injured. So I get the jokes. But if you're talking strictly off the player, I mean, I agree with Brad Holmes. If we're talking tight ends and what they can be, yards after catch, that's what you look for. Guys that can make people miss. Sam LaPorta did that at a much higher rate than Michael Mayer. So, again, before we look at just mock drafts and look at, well, I saw Michael Mayer in the first round every time. I never saw Sam LaPorta. That's the problem. Because people get so dependent on mock drafts that they psychologically can't understand why a GM like Brad Holmes would take a guy like Sam LaPorta over Michael Mayer. It's not all based on mock drafts. It's based off a lot of things. And to put it simple, Sam LaPorta can offer more to the Lions and fits the Lions better in what they want to do with utilizing their tight ends than Michael Mayer. I rest my case.
And I will say that Holmes had said several times, like, I completely get people doing mock drafts. I respect it. I get that they do it for their careers, but I do not give a shit.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, look, as much as everybody wants to freak out about mock drafts being wrong this year, you go back over the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, however long this has been around, public has been more right than NFL GMs.
And real quick,
so,
I meant 9 feet, 10 feet. That's the difference in the broad jump.
Oh, you're not talking about their dunks?
No, not inches.
Okay.
Excuse me. 10 feet.
I thought we were dealing with mega monsters.
I was
here.
flying through. I misinterpreted that. But yes, 10 feet for Sam LaPorta. But I sent you the graphic for both of their measurements. I want to throw this up for a second. This is per Detroit Elite. Check this out.
Brad Holmes has a type of player.
There you go.
I'll give you that. Clearly, he values some things over others. If you look between Michael Mayer and Sam LaPorta, the biggest thing that jumps off to me, it's not about any of the measurables. It's his ability to break tackles. To have a tight end on this team, it's not about having a vertical threat. It's not about a guy that can occupy space in the middle of the field. It's not the way this offense works. And I always bring up the New York Jets game. I believe I'm correct by saying the Jets game, yes?
With Brock Wright.
Where Brock Wright on a play action ran an underneath route to the opposite side of the field, caught the ball, and took it, 30, 40 yards for a touchdown, essentially. Okay? Now, I want you to envision that, but with Sam LaPorta, and that's kind of how I see any tight end, obviously him working really well in this offense, is you're always going to line up, not always, but a majority of the time, this team in certain situations is going to line up in a 2 tight end set. And they are going to go for the every once in a while, occasional play action double screen, where you have one option on the right side and another option on the left, and that option on the left, likely or right, will be Sam LaPorta on a tight end screen.
Right.
We see this all the time. Matthew Stafford made this famous in Detroit during his time here. The offense is going to open up completely with Sam LaPorta. I think they identified, hey, could we live without a tight end? Yeah. Does he check all of our boxes, though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is he available on the board? Yeah. Is he going to be an instant upgrade? And he's reliable? Yeah. It's hard to hate a pick like that when they just fit so well. Sam LaPorta fits much better in this offense than Michael Mayer. To me, a guy like Michael Mayer, and I'm not trying to dog Darren Waller's athleticism because it's unbelievable, but you're talking a guy that is looking to stretch the field horizontally and vertically. A guy that can run a deep in 15, and a guy that can run a straight go in the middle of the field, and a guy that can occupy a lot of the space. That's what Michael Mayer is going to do. But you don't want that in Detroit. And without sounding too corny here, Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, I mean, not super athletes, but speed.
Yes.
This is an offense that's working on speed. They're trying to get faster and faster and faster. And I'm sorry, Brock Wright is not Sam LaPorta. Jahmyr Gibbs is infinitely more gifted and talented and athletic than Jamal Williams.
Right.
This is an immediate upgrade. Like Brad Holmes has already said multiple times, these are day one players. I think they fit in the offense, and I think Ben Johnson is just licking his chops right now. So excited to absolutely go to work on the rest of the league.
And I think they value route running. And Sam LaPorta, if you watch the tape, he's an excellent route runner as a 6'3", 6'4" tight end. Like, it's unbelievable. And that's why Iowa trusted him. Even how bad the offense was, even how bad and disgusting that Iowa offense was, they still moved Sam LaPorta around, and he led the team in receptions. So, again, Sam LaPorta, that's the argument to make. You hit on it, too. He fits the Lions better. You could bring up the combine stats. You could bring up the opportunities they both had at both the respective colleges. But it comes down to, what can this player be? It's clear Sam LaPorta checks a lot more boxes for Brad Holmes than Michael Mayer did.